Who observes the observer? Ah, the questions that must be answered. We are here to observe and judge the observer. One and all, welcome back to the channel. We're watching Cow, the observer that you see on EGC and Rising Empires broadcasts, going up against 3D Clan's B in the midweek muster. That's right, Cow, he'd been begging to get into these week after week after week. That is how prestigious of an event it is. People are queuing up at the door. We actually had 40 signups this week. Pretty damn impressive considering that people know only 32 make it. Cow has finally made it. The question now is, can he make it past the round of 32 when his first experience is up against B? No discredit to his opponent on the other side, but either Starflock or Gully going to this, Cow's got to be feeling confident that if he can take down B, he could probably take down one of those two because B is the highest seeded of the four. Kind of interesting when you think about the brackets that way. The waning dynamics, right? It's like your first round can be more challenging than your second if the seeding is really against you. But we are playing on Transhumans. Brand spanking new map that we have added to the midweek muster pool this time around. Dry Arabia and Transhumans were added this week, and we took out, I believe it was Cliffside and Haywire. Transhumans is interesting, though. It's kind of like the Canal dynamics of having a very claustrophobic starting island, and then an encouragement to move out to the map. The difference, however, to Canal that I quite like with Transhumans is Canal, whether you liked or lumped it, it was going to be about the water play. You had to go fishing, you had to play up the river, you had to play for control there. Cool thing on Transhumans is the rivers do not go horizontal, they go vertical. Ergo, they don't reach your opponent's base. So you don't get that added advantage of pushing towards them. The river is pretty much just a kind of natural wall for your base, but there's plenty to play into. Food, relics, sacred sites, clear win conditions, trade options, all of them require you to come off of your starting island. So, Grand Winery coming in for Byzantines here, pretty standard. B, curious to see how he wants to try and address the Byzantine threat. Byzantines are kind of infamous for this feigned pressure into fast castle build, and if they do that, what do you really do as Japan, right? Like, you kind of get baited and you get stuck behind. You want to be going fast castle. Do you really want to be playing H2? You could in some matchups with Coca Township, but you'd be doing so against probably longbows. Now, in fairness, if you go Horseman Shinobi rather, against Horseman Longbow, Japanese can actually win that, especially with fishing to back them up. Do you think Cow's observed experience advantage? So, it's funny you say that, because as long as your mechanics are there, there is actually an advantage to watching games. This is, by the way, why you guys should watch my streams. You watch enough of my streams, because here's the thing. You watch one pro player, you see their POV. You watch my streams, you see all their POVs. You take all that information, you feed it into your brain, you become a better player. All seriousness, though, there is like an element to that. Like, I learned that with Dota 2, where after I became a caster for Dota 2, I went grinding and ranked after years of not bothering, and I climbed my way up to the top 5,000 in Europe, right? Which, for anyone who knows how many people play Dota 2 in each region, that's really impressive. That is on a percentile level. I'd say, well, we went beyond top 5,000, right? We went top 3,000. So, like, at that point, we're definitely, like, percentile equivalent. It's kind of like getting into the top 100, top 150 in AoE 4. And a lot of that wasn't just, like, my mechanical skill. It was the information that I had learned from observing pros week after week after week for years. So it does help. Right? Because you could be very good at mechanics. Like, the best way, an easier, kind of more, like, basic way of thinking about this is because FPS is easier to track and understand, right? You can have very good aim in Apex Legends, but you can suck at actually winning games because there's a strategic layer that you wouldn't be familiar with. But if you watch ALGS and you watch the best players in the game utilize those strategies, your brain expands. Let's see if B can expand our brain, because we did get Coca Township. And I am wondering if we are going to get a stables play. I love that as well. He set up the farmhouses. Yo, this is sick. Guys, this is really cool because what you can do is you can bring the fishing boats down and they can drop off at the farmhouses. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they never changed this. You do still need to manually drop off. But it's shoreline fish. So it takes a very long time to gather. So it's not like you're doing this every 10 seconds. It's like you're doing it every minute. That's really cool. And what is up? There's a cool kid himself. Camion coming up with the gifted sub. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, watch this. This is sick. We'll check it in like 10 seconds or so. Shinobi are coming in the meantime. This has to be Horseman follow-up, right? No, it's feigned aggro into Fast Castle because Cow almost looks like he's trying to do Fast Castle. Very delayed timing to go 1-1-1. Right, here you go, guys. Moment of truth. This is brilliant. Wait. No. Beat. Okay, actually, in fairness, it's not that far a distance. All right, we'll check in later to prove it works. It's really cool, though. And remember, this is very efficient for the Japanese because you're just building houses, right? Your mills are your houses. For other civs, this would be very expensive to do, but you need to build these anyway. That's sick. Hopefully, we get to see it before the end of the game. Who knows? Maybe Cow's got a comeback in mind, or maybe like this is too expensive to play and Cow just beat him. Because we have got the Eastern... Okay, you can tell that Cow was watching Dragavan's game on this map earlier. Bit different in the timing, but kind of a similar build, right? Going Keshiks is quite intriguing here, because now it stops your opponent from playing Shinobi Horseman. Now, that would have been good had B been going Horseman. But B is going Fast Castle. And Mounted Samurai will slap the teeth out of Keshiks. It's really not even close. Especially an age behind like this. Like, we've already seen a few Japanese-Mongol matchups, right? Mongols look really good unless you get mirrored in terms of scale into Castle Age. Without a Kurotai, you just don't win. And obviously, although you have Keshiks, you don't have a Kurotai as the Byzantines. Shinobi. Nice micro. This is the other thing about Shinobi. I think Shinobi's a very polarizing unit for the average player because AoE for majority casual players, right? And within that, AoE4 is a macro game, played in a very macro way by the majority of players. I think this is also the same reason why Jeanne was very polarizing. Jeanne and Shinobi are two of the most micro-intensive elements of AoE4 if you think about it. If you play well with Shinobi, in and outing them with the built-in heal, with the Shinshin abilities, the sabotage, the ability to spy by disguising, there is a lot of play, but also it requires a lot of attention to min-max. If you play them very dented, they do a bit of damage, but they also can fail you fast against cavalry. That was really well executed. The initial damage done there has guaranteed that Cow doesn't want to fight him. He has to back up. He has to go to castle. And now, he's gone for Ghoulems. Ghoulems against Mounted Samurai. There's really nothing you can do there. Once again, he gets baited here. This is why I was a bit shocked by the Keshik choice, right? Longbows makes a lot more sense here. It gets you out of the base. Instead, you're now stuck. Ducked. Alright, we're finally going to get to see it. No dying yet, Cow. This does look really bad, though. Even if it gets age free now, like, you don't have anything. You need to go archers first, right? Because the Shinobi are a big enough threat. But now you know your opponent's going to build Mounted Samurai. So, what do you do here, right? You're going to have to build Limitane. You're building Limitane into Shinobi. And not just that, it's scaling Shinobi. This is brilliant. I've been saying it for so long, man. Koka Township was being slept on. I mean, the buffs made it even easier to justify. Kura Storehouse makes for a comfortable game. Koka Township makes your opponent's game uncomfortable. Wait, did he just drop off? God damn it. Alright, we'll have to keep an eye on that. So look, I'm going to keep on the bar there so you guys can see it. And on the minimap, you can see the fishing boat isn't going back. Shinobi, once again, he doesn't get anything. He loses a Keshik and a Horseman for nothing. Remember, that Shinobi is going to heal over time. Oh my god. The Mounted Samurai are arriving soon. We also have the Uma Bannerman. So Cow is basically going to blob incredibly high amounts of Limitane, or as much as he can. And, yep, you just saw it. He dropped off. It works. He's dropping off every 20, actually. So B, what he's doing is he has a habit of checking it on an X frequency. And that frequency, I think, is based around, like, deep water fish. But this is shoreline fish, so it gathers slower. So he's actually not being efficient. Remember, fishing boats can hold up to 40. And there you go. Look, you just saw it. You saw it pick on the top. 80 food gained. So what does Cal think his out is here is what I'm wondering. I mean, you don't really want to have to go game 2 already, but it is a best of 3, folks, right? Single elim, sure. And you don't want to give your opponent an advantage, but the degree of mistake that is required for B to now lose this game is absurd. Right, we're 10 minutes in, and this is already like a 95% win chance. Cow is going to go for an age up. He could try to scale crossbows. In theory... Okay, so hear me out, guys. Crossbows beat everything. True or false? 1's if true, 2's if false. This is not a trick question either. In the current meta, it's kind of true. Once they reach critical mass, they're very hard to deal with, and then when they scale to Imperial, they're phenomenal, right? This Civ doesn't have crossbows. So, like, actually, the weird thing is Japan got some nice buffs to Feudal and around, like, early Castle with the way things flow now. But I feel like as the game goes on and you get towards mass crossbows, Japan is one of the biggest sufferers of the current meta because they don't have them. This has been a fundamental flaw of Japan's design for a while, but with the current meta shifting towards very crossbow-heavy comps and the recent nerfs around elite army tactics, in a lot of ways, Japan was the biggest civ to suffer from those changes. So, that's my take on what Cal's win condition is. Whether he's going to have enough food is the real question up for debate. Let alone enough gold, right? Because this gold, he's got 2k to work with. Crossbows are, what, 40 each? So you could scale quite a lot. Imperial, however, is impossible. Like, on your starting island here, the design of this map, which I love, by the way, like, there are maybe certain civs that can get Imperial, like HRE. But you're not really going to pick HRE in this map, guys, because this map only has 3 relics. Which, by the way, is another thing that can make Japan a bit weak. Because, remember, they benefit off of these fast castle into relics. So, you know, outside HRE, what kind of civ could really exist on this island to get to Imperial? Fine. Maybe Abbasid to a certain degree. Possibly Rus. The design of the map is actually quite well thought out. Similar to the idea of Canal, which is get the hell out of your base and play the damn map. If only Keshik's actually gave bounty for burning build. Oh my god! He almost has as many shinobi as he has amount of samurai. This army is so damn scary. Cow. Yep. We called it. Crossbow production now on the way. Poor Cow? No. No, he's not. He didn't pick Malians this game, so we won't get to see what poor Malian looks. Oh, you meant poor as in the player. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. Well, the good news is, I mean, this probably works out nicely, right? Because the 2v2 tournament begins the main event on the weekend. Cow's probably got production duty to do. Doesn't want to have to schedule us. Okay, we actually made it sound like he's already out. He has still got a hit back opportunity, but B has not really put him in a morale boosting position in game number 1 here. Charge comes in. Outpost at least going to scare him away. B doesn't need to rush, right? He's ahead in every imaginable way. He could get even further ahead because he's got Yurishiras. He could even consider going 2 TC on the mainland. I'd actually love that play. A TC drop here, or maybe even, say, towards like the ball. So you get this central area resources is great. Also love on the minimap how it looks like they've just surrounded villages. You know what I love is also the type of clothes they're wearing. It's almost like they've taken the ninja garments and flipped them inside out to get this blue. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised B hasn't been taking Sacred Science. We've seen a few times today how players neglect that, but I think he's now fixing that. Yeah, moving out for him now. Oh. By the way, I think we're probably going to be aiming to do... How many series have we done today? This would be... Is this the second full series? I think we'll aim to do like 4 full series today. Something like that. Sounds good. So probably live for like 5 or 6 hours. And look at that! Someone's been live for a while. Thank you very much, Krakeny. You came in at the perfect time. What do you think about Cal being so bad at Byzantines that his own villagers want to fight him? I'm sorry, Cal. Wall's going to go down. I mean, he's got a decent number of crossbows together. We were just saying, literally, the only way that Cal can get out of this is if he builds enough crossbows, he can potentially, like, finesse his way. It is so challenging, though. Like, what's his gold at now? He's down to 500 already. That's not going to buy you a lot of favor here, right? Maybe like 30 crossbows maximum, and you can't afford to lose any. Farm count is at least getting better, right? So you're starting to scale his eco. Other side of this is the 2 TC. Oh my god, that's greedy. 2 TC Yorishiro at that from B. Imagine if he just goes Imperial. I mean, you could actually. Like, Imperial be sick here. Castle of Crows here. Use the trade post behind you. You get maximum resources. And no, B. B. No. Micro it. Okay, we've lost the efficiency. He doesn't care anymore. So B has been actually microing to drop off the fish in the houses. He just stopped. So we have got a decap attempt on the north side. I don't know, man. I still think Eastern Contract is just sad. It is by far the most situational contract, and it also feels like a momentum-based contract, right? Like, there's kind of comeback wings from going Lombos or Javelins. The only comeback wing condition with Eastern Contract is it really in like H4? I mean, I'm not even... yeah, it's Tower Elephants. So I guess you could argue Elephants if that's affordable. But the Castle Age always just feels so hollow with this type of build. I feel like you only really go for Eastern Contract when you're trying to block your opponent's Castle Age play, which is why, in theory at least, made sense against Japanese. But in practice against Koka, it makes you look like you've huffed too much Koka before the session, you know? That type. This is a sad, sad, slow game. Cal, I think you're starting to realize the ticking time bomb that exists in this game. If he doesn't start making a move soon, B could just be going Imperial, and then if it's a Castle of the Crow, he won't get a decap. We can see B's actually transitioning. Onobugishi getting prepped. I mean, it makes sense. Your opponent has Limitane, crossbows. Easiest way to just slap your way through that army. We do have some spring emplacements, so that's why he's shuffling to the north, is he doesn't want to be fighting underneath these emplacements, which can easily dispatch the crossbows. More outpost crawls as well from B. What do you guys think? Like, we've been seeing a few comments in the chat. Like, if you watch this later, I think this will get uploaded, because this is interesting for the opening plays at least. What's your feeling with an Eastern Contract? I don't want to say buff it, because I think Byzantine still have too many good things for them. But the contract does feel drastically out of position. I'm not always about nerfing first, but it almost feels like something needs to be reworked with the Western and the Silk Road to realign Eastern. Or maybe it is just Eastern and you have a hard time, but if you get Imperial, Elephants are OP. My issue with that thought process is if Elephants eventually get nerfed, and they're not OP anymore, then Eastern literally has nothing for the late game. Like, okay, what about this? Would it be OP if instead of Gulams, you got Bedouin Swordsman? Well, Bedouin Swordsman, rather. Anyway, pause that thought. Shinobi dive in. They're drawing all the fire the crossbows. Mount Samurai are going to follow through. An attempt to get a keep up here from Cal, but this is going to cost him everything. Army is dead. Castle might be going up, but it won't be lasting for long. Game 1 will be a win for B. Yeah, there's no coming back from losses like that. He's out of gold now. This would have secured an extra gold vein, but good luck ever touching it. Torch is already out, and that torch is going to carry B all the way to victory. Woof. Rough opening game here. Cal, you just got to keep focusing on the next game. B now doesn't have the OP wait, actually, Japanese isn't OP in this meta. Oh, no. Actually, B has some decent picks, but so does Cal. This series could still go 3 games. I think he had some potent picks. Roos in this current draft. English as well. French has been a rising star. But he's going to have to level it up, man. The tough part about a game like this as well for Cal is it kind of just feels like you were sitting here waiting to die for the last 10 minutes, right? That is a demoralizing element that you have to kind of have good mental fortitude to overcome. But I think we'll take it in stride. The challenge is being real about the likelihood of you winning so you don't get demoralized, but also believing you can win against someone like B. Because if you can't believe it, you're never going to manifest it. And yes, B versus Cal. We are a channel built on cruelty to animals. Catch you in the next one.